Trying it again. Am I frozen? Let me just turn my. I mean, I'm not even. I don't even know what to try. Am I back? Is it frozen? Audio working? Visual working? Oh my gosh. Okay. You can see me and hear me. And wonderful. 10:02. We can see and hear. That's great. All right. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there through whatever is going on with my channel. I don't know what's happening. It's been very weird since like last week. It's been very weird. A lot of people have been on both platforms, TikTok and YouTube. A lot of people have been like TikTok specifically. A lot of people have been saying that I don't ever pop up anymore on videos. Like hundreds of people have been like, it's forced me to unfollow, unsubscribe. I don't know what's going on. It's just very weird. Typically, technical difficulties and stuff like that happen, but typically with YouTube and TikTok, especially YouTube, we always have the same amount of community members. And I've realized over the last 2 weeks, it's dang near 90% down. So like it's whatever, bro. You know what I mean? We gonna keep doing what we doing. And we just keep it pushing. That's kind of social media for you, especially when you're like rising content creator and all of that podcaster. Like really I don't slow anything down. It's always just gonna keep pushing through it. So it is what it is. We're gonna keep it going. And I appreciate y'all sticking through that because that was ridiculous. I don't even feel like talking about what I was gonna talk about before all of that went down. So we're gonna get straight into it before some other craziness happened. Is the content you are covering convert squashing free speech? Yeah, it's super weird. It's super weird. I don't know. Super weird. Don't touch anything. I'm gonna try not to. I don't know what I did. I don't know. I literally Wi-Fi been working all day, but I do appreciate y'all for sticking through. We have a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. Blake Neff is speaking in the X space right now. Oh shoot! What? Come on, I got you. Because Blake Neff snitched on himself last time when he was in the X space. What X space is he in? Let me see. I gotta listen to this. Blake Neff snitched on himself so much last. Here you go. Here you go.
People and organizations will react in different ways, and you could say I don't think they handle it the right way, like they should preserve it that way, but I think that point you made is the perfect one, which is it was no longer a crime scene. The police roped it off, they did their investigative work, they collected their evidence, but this isn't a, you know, 10 by 10 square area that is permanently ceded to Utah law enforcement in case anyone decides they need to dig it up again. Ultimately, with any crime, the police do their investigation, they take the information they believe they need, and then they relinquish the scene back to its owner, whether it's physical property in some cases or whether it's a location. And that is what happened here. And it's always bizarre to me because when people complain about that, I feel they're essentially, as far as I can tell, they're getting back to what has always, in my opinion, been the dumber of the conspiracy.
What just happened? Hold on, let me try to get back in. Bro, hold on. Let me try to get back into X space. All right.
In the end, they're unlikely in most cases to just keep a vehicle around permanently for 3 years in case someone decides to double check that sort of thing. Like that, this is what we have police investigative departments for, to collect
Well,
evidence.
I mean, I don't know what the expectation here is to just like have that roped off in perpetuity. Really, what this is an appeal to, I don't know, these people that think they're suddenly private investigators or Matlock or something, where it's like, no, 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 I needed you to preserve that so I could go there and I could figure out the truth. You're not going to be allowed to do that. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to go there in the middle of the night and security isn't going to be aware, and you're going to be able to take soil samples, and you're going to find fragments of bullets that actually exited. I mean, how long have we been hearing this? That like, no, 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 there was an exit wound. No, 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 he was shot from the rear. No, no, he was shot from the front. Like, there's nothing that you're going to find there. It really is ridiculous, and you're not going to be allowed to go there and investigate or whatever it is that you think you're going to do. And by the way, there's no evidence that you should be allowed to do that or that there would be anything found because there's no evidence of anything other than what has taken place. And if you show me evidence, I would love to see it because you know what? I would love to discover that something else happened. I'm perfectly fine with it. But so far, I just don't see any evidence. Look, I'm going to let a couple other folks up here in just a moment. I just want to say this for those of you that disagree with Blake or me or the Fed slop and you're onto the pod slop, whatever it is you believe, we're going to let you talk. We're going to be remain respectful, and I expect the same out of you. This is not the time for sound bites or anything else. Let's have a earnest, good faith discussion. And so, with that being said,
Oh,
I
they
will
let
let
Mason up
Mason up.
first.
Mason, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions that I could ask, but I guess just one specific that I had in mind today was I saw this on X a couple days ago, and then Candace brought it up as well. But for Blake specifically, how do you tackle the two differences between the challengers? Because one of them you can obviously see it is a dual exhaust from the video that was shown in court, and then the official pictures from when they towed his car, it was the regular like rectangular exhaust. So you don't have to get into like, oh, this person. I'm talking strictly, can you acknowledge that those are literally two different vehicles?
Here's what I'll tell you. I don't know, Blake, if you want to answer that, but what I can tell you is that Midgray did a video analysis of that. They decided to capture. You can actually see that it is a dual exhaust in the other photos. What you're dealing with, according to Midgray, who knows more about photography and videography than I do, is that you're dealing with a extremely slow frames per second camera, and
Yeah, that
as
was a
that
good
thing
question.
moves, this is what we've seen time and time again because you can grab one frame of something and make it look like something else entirely. And we've seen this, we've seen fraudulent presentation of evidence time and time again. I reposted Midgray. I will find that post and repost it for you, Mason. You can check that out. I think you need to go through that and make a determination of yourself. If you believe what he's saying, I think it's pretty compelling. That's ultimately up for you to decide. But I do think and the other part of this is we know what the VIN number is to his vehicle. Um, I guess the other argument would be, well, it's not his vehicle; it's a different vehicle altogether.
Ah, let me see if I can just refresh it.
Clearly see that it is a double circular cylinder exhaust. And then in the car that was towed away, it was a flatter rectangular exhaust.
So you're coming to that conclusion based on the one still that's being presented as that fact. And what I'm saying is that in the exact same video, you can actually see in other frames, and this is exactly what Midgray is pointing out.
Bro, do I really got to put this up on my phone? I got to put it up on my phone. Hold on. Let me switch TikTok over to my iPad. And then I got to pull this space up on my phone. I'm working on it. I'm sorry. No baby yet. No baby yet. Had a doctor's appointment today, and same thing. It said any day, any week, just be ready.
Blake, I don't know if you're talking or not, but your mic is muted, or maybe just not talking, or maybe you're busy or something else. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to answer that. I think there's lots of opinions on that. I think they are. I think what they're doing is inciting violence time and time again.
How
when
so?
You're telling people, well, when you're saying that Erica Kirk, for instance, is involved. Well, let me ask you this.
Go for it.
We know that whoever you believe that killed Charlie Kirk, somebody was targeting Charlie Kirk. Do we agree on that?
Yeah, the party or parties involved were targeting Charlie Kirk, correct?
Sure. And we also know that Charlie Kirk had thousands of death threats. That's why he had security. Those have actually been confirmed by FBI in the past. Like, he's had death threats for his beliefs. And this all stems from his push against leftism, and in particularly trans activism. He's talked about this.
Oh my gosh.
He's mentioned this to many different people. I think this is well documented. At any point I get to a point where someone disagrees, or specifically you, feel free to chime in. So Erica Kirk, through association, just by proxy, I think we could agree that would automatically, regardless of how Charlie left PPUSA and ultimately because he was killed, if she fills his shoes, she's ultimately a target too. And my God, if you want to say Israel too, fine, whatever. But the point is that she automatically comes with that. Now you add on to that people saying that she is involved in the conspiracy, the planning, and the cover-up of Charlie Kirk's death. That is going to incite a lot of other people. And then on top of that, you add these allegations and disgusting accusations saying that she's involved with child sex trafficking. So yeah, that is inciting, and with zero evidence, by the way. Nobody has a scintilla of evidence at all saying that she was involved in conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk. None. They don't have anything. And you have zero evidence to say that she's involved in child sex trafficking. But that is the image that they're pushing forward. And that in of itself is inciting violence. And they know what they're doing.
He said there's no evidence. He was the one that failed on the alibi. Where were you, Erica, on September 8th? Gary tried to provide an alibi and it failed. So that's pretty strange for somebody that died.
As many people as Candace reaches and Baron Coleman reaches, and some of the things they have said, I think the conclusion is pretty clear that they've convinced their audience that Charlie Kirk was killed, his wife was involved, and that also his wife was involved in child sex trafficking. So we could isolate it just to her, but for sure, that is inciting violence. Right. Do you not agree with that?
Right. So I'm assuming you're talking about the guy, like the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Was that the main guy you're talking about?
No. There was another guy.
They canceled the event in Georgia.
JD. with JD Vance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one where I think Candace, of course, like claimed the whole thing was fake, as she would, but no, it was very real.
Okay, so
no, wait. There was a separate event where a guy was arrested. I think he was in Texas. I don't know. Somebody throw that down the purple pill.
Yeah, it was in San Antonio. I'm near Austin, so I heard about that too.
Yeah.
This is my thing. Like, obviously, Charlie got death threats. We know this. We know he got death threats. We know conservatives get death threats more than the left. That's just true. My whole thing is, if you're going to pin stuff on Candace and Barron, how can you do that when none of these people that you've mentioned have had any connection to them or have made any statement saying, I did this because of this, or this was the manifesto, or this or this? How do we know they weren't leftist people that were trying to kill Erica, who's a conservative? That's why I think it's dangerous to put the blame of death or potential death on two people that, in my opinion, cared about Charlie, cared about his mission, and whether you agree with them or not, they're doing the most that they can to figure out the truth. Because I've said this since the beginning, guys. I've said it is far better to search for the truth than do nothing. And with all due respect to the Charlie Kirk Show and Turning Point and everybody involved, I've said this since September and October back then. I said, has Blake Neff, Andrew Plavette, Mikey McCoy, Jack Posobiec, any of these people, Mikey McCoy, have any of these people sat at the table at the Charlie Kirk Show, looked up at the monitor at UVU footage and been like, okay, maybe this guy looks suspicious, or maybe this, or here's this evidence? No, I'm just look real quick. I was
so wait, hold on. You're mad at me because I haven't like schizophrenically accused random people of being in on the shooting because
I'm not saying.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying strictly when after all this happened, just do your own.
No, like that's what you're saying. You're angry that we didn't like wildly speculate that specific people look suspicious on camera because that's like what you think we're supposed to do.
But you're saying wildly. I'm saying, Blake, you guys did nothing. You guys were all about.
No, Mason, that's not. Hold on. There's. No, Mason, hold on a second. Let me just pause you right there, because it's not just what we do; it's how we go about doing things. And as a conservative, as you're saying, there's something that we believe in, and that is you don't accuse people without evidence, and that is inciting. That should be condemned.
The evidence is in the footage, bro.
And this is the other thing that just I find disgusting. When we sit there and want to play word games and be like, well, she never actually said, well, she's done more than that. She's convinced her audience with a lot of different types of language, with a lot of different avenues of approach on that. And so has Barron. And if you want to sit there and say, well, I never said that she actually killed him. Okay, no, you have. You just said it in so many. And by the way, you can talk to any lawyer. That isn't going to fly in court. Insinuation and the way that they've gone about this is absolutely allegations by insinuation.
But I'm saying, how can you connect this?
Hold on. What I'm saying is, why isn't that condemned by you? Why isn't it saying, like, you know what? Okay, if you want to do your own investigation, if you want to play Nancy Drew, and you want to create this murder mystery, choose your own adventure, you get to participate in it, and call my hot tip line, and you want to play that game, then why don't you do that behind the scenes professionally? Because how you go about doing it is just as important as what you're doing. And even if you're building a case and you think that's true, like the moment you start saying, hey, you know what, this person is guilty with zero evidence. We're 10 months into this and there's zero evidence of any claim. And by the way, not only is there zero evidence, she said
rage bait.
Foreign Legion did it. She said people were shooting him from the tunnels. She said the shot came from behind. She said she's alluded to multiple things that are clearly completely wrong.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do understand that, Mason. First of all, you're like also just like saying false things. Like, oh, you guys have never bothered to try to look for it? Okay, well, we compiled a bunch of TikToks and various other things that looked suspicious to us before the shooting happened, and we sent them to the FBI to investigate. Why would we do that if we didn't care? All those texts that ended up like coming out where Charlie's like complaining about his Jewish donors, as has already been established, those came out because Andrew sent them to the government because he thought, hey, leave no stone unturned. Like, it's just completely false to say that we've just stood up there and said, we're not asking any questions. We're not doing anything to try to further the like discovery of truth on this. It's just like a false thing to claim that.
I'm saying the guys that you're saying that have threatened Erica with death threats and stuff, all this stuff, all the threats, everything, how can you connect them to Candace or Barron or other people? Name one thing that connects them to that. They would say, oh, they did this because they listened to Candace Owens. Name one thing. Name one instance. Look, like what I will say is, I'm not saying any specific person was specifically radicalized by Candace or by Darren. What I will say is they endlessly stoke the idea that Erica Kirk is like a specifically nasty, like evil individual who's like conspired in one of the most dramatic and like wicked crimes in our lifetimes. They endlessly promote this idea with no evidence. They egg on people who do like weird and creepy things, like try to like spy on her and like stalk her. Like they encourage people who do these things by reporting on their antics and claim that this has no connection whatsoever with people feeling like it's a good idea to stalk, harass, and threaten Erica and anyone else in the Turning Point universe is farcical. Like, I don't know whether any particular person is connected to them. Do I think any of them would have a problem if someone did that? No, I don't in the slightest. I mean, freaking Baron Coleman himself went and stalked Erica to a church that she has been seen at.
Bro, what?
I don't, like I said, I don't condone death threats or anything. I was just saying, what's the specific connection? Because even the Joshua guy that you guys had on was like, he was talking about the death threats and then immediately went to conspiracy theorists because they're watching Candace and Baron. So I'm just like, I just want to make this like for the record, like I'm not some random online person. Like I'm a college student. I was in a chapter. Back in September, October, November, I defended Erica and TPOSA in the midst of death threats, online and in person. I had to talk to the president of our university because we were getting racist harassment from people to our vice president and president. We were getting death threats almost every day. We were getting physically assaulted sometimes. So I'm just saying this as somebody who was in a chapter, who was at the funeral, who was at AmFest, who has talked to former TPOSA employees.
Yeah, he 100% just accused Baron.
Presidents. I've interacted with you, Blake, and Andrew. I've talked to Candace. I've talked to Aubrey Leitch. I've talked to all these people. And at the end of the day, this is what I told people. You came away from that thinking that Candace is a good faith actor? Okay, I don't think she's an actor. I think she's trying to find something else. I'm just saying this is the point of everything. You came away from that thinking Candace is a good person. I think, like, I think she was Charlie. Came away from all those interactions, and Candace is the one who's after the truth. Like, you guys relentlessly have said that they were not friends. Why would Charlie say 48 hours before he died, I'm thinking about inviting her to AmFest? Why would she?
Yeah.
I literally explained. It's the biggest event of the year. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Because he was literally joking. Like, literally.
Oh my gosh.
Of course he was joking. The context is, he's complaining, he's kvetching in this chat that he's annoyed by some of the really pro-Israel donors and voices who are bothering him. Basically, he kept getting pressured to uninvite Tucker. He kept getting pressured to disavow Tucker. And so he's saying, oh, these guys.
Oh, shoot. I did not mean to leave. Let me get back.
Maximally piss them off. Before, I don't think that's very difficult to understand. But before that text, he said just
this Blake Neff talking. He in the X space right now.
Mason, why was Candace not at 2024 AmFest?
At 2024. Why was Candace not at the funeral? Well,
yeah,
she didn't go to the funeral because
she wasn't at 2024. She wasn't at AmFest 2024, and she wasn't invited.
I'd say, like, since people fuss over that, why wasn't she at Charlie's memorial? She was invited.
I remember she said she didn't want to go because of security threat. She didn't want to travel.
Okay.
And I'm not going to blame her for that.
Other people braved the security threat to honor Charlie, and she didn't think that was important, I guess.
I mean, that's a personal decision. Like, I would have liked to see her there. I would like to hear her speak there. I think we all would have. But
Can I jump in real quick, actually, about that?
Who's this? Sinful Souls?
That's Sinful.
Yeah, go ahead. Why not? Let's break it up.
So if Erica is the same thing, the reason why she didn't go to Georgia is because of a security threat, and she gets mocked for it. But Candace doesn't want to go to a funeral.
Her husband was just killed. I mean, there's some important context there.
Yeah.
So, no, they're not two different.
Well, they are.
They're both the same thing. You're saying they're both security threats, right?
Right, but
Candace didn't want to go to the funeral thing.
She didn't want to go.
Nobody mocked Candace for that. We didn't mock Candace for that. But Erica, she can't go to the Georgia thing, and she got nothing but mocked for that because the crowd size wasn't big enough or something.
Oh, and by the way,
Candace, you're going to be mad about that.
I'm not mad about that. I wasn't even talking about that.
Well, and Candace wouldn't go and debate Blake and Andrew in person because she was worried about the carpet.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Well, like I said, that's another
My apologies. That tonight's episode is totally different than usual. I know, but I feel like this is very important.
The argument. Let's say she was acting in good faith. If Candace is acting in good faith, which I completely disagree, I think most people with, I don't know, any sort of, any reasonable person would disagree with that. But if she was acting in good faith, then she is one of the most incompetent investigators on the face of the planet. She has gotten everything wrong. She has literally never provided a single piece of evidence to a material claim that she's made. We have no evidence of any involvement with the French. That clearly turned out to be false. We had to throw a Jew in there somewhere. That was weird. And then we have a claim that she was actually targeted by the French. What happened with that? Because she went to.
I'm requesting to join. I know I'm not going to get in, but I'm requesting.
$1.5 million back. She said that Charlie was shot from below. That turned out to be false. We know that's not true. She said he was shot from the crowd. That turned out to be false, or at least no one's claiming that now. And now she's went with the dumbest of all the theories, that he was killed by an exploding microphone with enough force to completely decimate the microphone, as per her claims and Baron Coleman's claim. But it wasn't enough force to kill a man. But it wasn't enough force, which, by the way,
Bro, why is it doing that?
force that it destroyed the microphone, but there was no equal and opposite reaction to where it destroyed his shirt at all. So, like, she has gotten it wrong every single time. So let's say she's acting in good faith. She is incompetent as they come. And the other point that I would make that proves she doesn't act in good faith, we know that Candace has a lot of resources. She could have multiple investigative teams. She could have multiple lawyers on this. She could have multiple forensic analysts on this. She's never done any of those things. She's not done one single good faith step to investigate this with any credibility whatsoever. And I'll leave it there.
So this has been my whole thing, because I tell people this all the time. I'm a Christian. I don't think Candace is like everything she says is gospel truth. I actually disagree with something that Candace says, regardless of people say, oh, you're Candace, cool, whatever. My whole thing is, if you're in an investigation, even if you're a literal investigator, even look at movies like the movie Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman.
Nobody's in a literal investigation other than the FBI, the Utah authorities, and the FBI.
Hold on. Well, first of all, I don't think we should just trust the FBI and those to what they say. But I'm saying, if you are going to be in an investigation, you actually have to you usually do hit dead ends, and you're wrong about a lot of things before you figure out the truth. You actually can't get to the truth unless you fail. That's like a life lesson. You can't get to your goal without failing, getting back up, reassessing, and going after it again.
The problem here, Mason, nobody has an issue with somebody being wrong. I don't. The problem that I have here is that she's never admitted it. The problem that I have here is that every time that she claims 100% full-throated that this is what happened, and by the way, if anyone's
Gary
they're crashing out, she's over the
Paramount Tactical is talking right now. He's talking to a kid named Mason. Mason used to work for Turning Point USA.
When people like me that are a veteran are saying, look, Mitch Snow, he could have been at Fort Huachuca. I don't care. But he did not walk into a meeting with colonels and the U.S. military planning this. And by the way, you have no evidence of that. It's just a fact. That never happened. That would not happen. That's not how the U.S. military works. They're not going to use conventional forces to suddenly conduct some clandestine operation where they kill an American citizen at UVU. It is retarded on its face. It was a scam. It was BS. And that's just true. And now I guess we've abandoned this. We know that Brian Harpole wasn't there, or we sure are going to know when he's done suing her. But she was provided with that information too, and she didn't even share it. Like, every time that she's had exculpatory information or information that contradicts her current claim, she doesn't share that information, and it shows that she's a liar. To this day, she's still saying. She's still saying that you got to be Spider-Man to scale the rooftop.
We got to break it up now. We got to get somebody else up there. They feel like they're doing too good.
Step over the rail and you're on the roof. Don't you think that's a problem? Don't you think that shows a level of dishonesty, that if she was held to the same standard she holds everybody else to, she would be completely discredited?
Yeah, and I also know, like, as evidence of bad faith, she often alludes to having evidence that she's keeping in reserve for some reason, which doesn't seem like the behavior of someone who's doing an open and transparent investigation. She loves to do that with the with that Aspen event that she fixated on and claimed was AI, where she loves to suggest she has like actually the full leaked unedited footage of the entire event. And I don't know if she does or not, but I believe she basically claimed to have it. Well, okay, Candace, then release the whole thing. But she doesn't, because what she wants to do is engagement bait. She wants to torment people. She wants to behave in a nasty way. She wants to wait for people to say something that she decides to like seize upon and claim is a lie, when most of the time there's no evidence that that's actually the case, and like twist them around as she does for example with the Aspen thing, where she loves to just go, oh, it's AI, it's like proven it's AI. And it's of course not. Like I guess
another great example of that. Hold on, another.
Oh no!
Is she's saying that this is a crowd?
They got Lisa up there as a speaker, bro. Oh no! This finna get bad, bro. I ain't trying to listen to Lisa. I requested to be a speaker. I haven't been accepted yet. It's a whole bunch of people in here, so I don't know if I ever will.
Since September, he just released it recently. But yet she can hold on to evidence. But if anyone else does, for whatever reason, they are to be suspected of something.
She released that months ago. She was on FaceTime with, I don't know if it was Terrell or whoever it was, but she released that like months and months and months ago. She was the reason we got the behind the camera footage. But
we also just don't even know that she actually has this stuff for months and months, because right before she went on live,
here's Lisa.
That she released that she said that she'd been sitting on them for 6 months. We found out after she went on vacation that she actually had just gotten them the night before. She only had them in her hand for a few hours before she released them to the public, because Michael Vinna, the guy who actually released them, he could not contain himself and had to immediately run to the internet and be like, I'm so amazing, guys. I gave this information to Candace, not realizing that the email that he shared with Candace Owens gave the...
I can't stand listening to her voice. They are supposed to let people rebuttal them, but they're just talking. That's why I said Mason did a good job, but now they doing way too much. So it's time to switch it up. A new voice and some new questions, because it's just ridiculous now. They think they won up right now.
That's when I was there. That was some of the opening audio of him saying that, and then obviously Candace and some other people were like, "Oh, release the video." So in order to like, I don't know, give people peace of mind of that almost. You guys released a video, Blake, of super loud music in the background, no context of that conversation, and you spliced a clip of Charlie and Erica kissing in between the sentences. So I'm saying, how is that valid proof of him appointing her if it's a clip spliced between sentences?
You're already like playing into like the fun that these people like to do. They're like, where's the evidence of Charlie appointing Erica CEO? Like this is like a whole transfer of power. No, like literally what happened, and this is like what you can see in the clip as presented, and it's also as described in reporting about it in the Daily Mail and so on, is at this event, someone asked Charlie, like, what would you do if something happens to you? And like Charlie is alive at the time. That's kind of a weird question to ask. And basically is like, okay, like Erica would do a great, if something happens to me, Erica would do a great job. And he says that and he moves on. And what I will add, and what we've always said, is like, you guys fixate on this video, Candace fixate on this video, because her goal is just to hurt people and cause discord and so on. But what we've always said is our decision, I shouldn't say our, because I actually wasn't making the decision. The decision to pick Erica was not something where they went and like, okay, dig into the archives, find the most recent video, what did Charlie say? No, it was always understood that if something happened to Charlie, by far the most likely person to succeed him was Erica.
I agree.
She was his wife, his closest confidant, the person who understood him best. And like, it wasn't like it was just automatically willed to her. In fact, the board, people that Charlie chose, picked Erica for that position. That is ultimately the reason that she was picked, because the board of Turning Point USA, which was a group of Charlie's closest friends going back years, chose her for that job. Now, as it happens, Charlie had been recently asked that, and he said when he had to name someone, he named Erica and said she would do a great job. And we played that audio because that's a touching tribute from Charlie to his wife, who is carrying on his mission. And Candace and Co. decided to fixate on this, claim that it was fake, endlessly demand that we dance to every single request they give us. Anytime they want us to release something, we're supposed to do it. And of course, they rationally said, no, we're not going to do that. We don't exist to get bossed around by Candace. We're not going to like release every random secret or every random private video that she demands we turn out. So the reason that they played it in the intro at the women's leadership event is because, yeah, we're willing to show this, but we're going to do it on our terms. We're not going to do it on Candace's terms every time she orders us to do something like she's our boss, which she's not. And that's the story of that. And then, as I predicted 5 months ago, they of course claim, oh, it's all AI, it's all fake. They'll claim that for everything. I mean, Buckley Carlson is on X claiming all of the videos of Tyler at UVU are probably AI too. Like, they're going to claim everything as AI.
Well,
that's their go-to for everything.
Like I said, I don't stand by everything that Candace says, and I don't stand by everything that everybody says. Like, when I heard of the video that you guys posted, I didn't even see Candace's reaction to that. I was just like, okay, like I do videography, right? To me, I was like, okay, that sounded like two separate sentences spliced together. But my whole thing was, I've heard you and Andrew say, oh, this has been the plan since the beginning for her to take over. So I don't see how Charlie.
And Mason, Candace confirmed that months ago too. She said, "Hey, look, I talked to somebody when this wasn't even a thing." She said, "I talked to somebody that was at the event that confirmed this. I trust this person." And then she, just like she's done in multiple other things, she's confirmed something, and then she turns around because it's useful and it's profitable and it's popular to do. She goes after. And here's what I always hear from your side of this. We hear about these things that are subjectively found suspicious by you. There's these things where you guys take that.
Bro, man, it's time to switch it up, bro. It's time to switch it up.
What the more likely scenario?
I mean, I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but it's, they kind of going in circles about the same thing right now. And, it's just time to switch it up. New questions. There's a lot more questions.
We're going to take somebody else. Thanks for.
There we go.
Thanks for jumping on here, Mason. We appreciate it.
All right, you guys are all untruthful clowns.
I have one question for Mason.
Wow.
See, hold on. See, that was total nonsense. Please get back up here, Mason. If you have a spine in your back there, please explain to us what we said that was untruthful. This is why I almost didn't even let you come up, because of how dishonest you are in your posting, but I still gave you a platform. We still let you speak for a really long time, and that's what you end with. It shows you what type of character that you have, which is none. Nate, go ahead.
Well, I just, as an English PSA, if you say someone is a good faith actor, it does not mean you're calling them a thespian, just for future reference. So just so everybody knows that, it means something else. But the other thing is, like, like when Luigi Mangione attacked a CEO, nobody batted an eye. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was like, okay, that's pretty clear. That's what happened. But with the Charlie Kirk thing, that's something different. And I think the linchpin in there was Candace Owens. I think that her willingness to push the conspiracy theories is what allowed this to kind of manifest and snowball into what it's become. The reality is, there's Occam's razor is a real thing. And, when you talk about all these conspiracy theories, it's like,
he's talking really low.
A guy who is a little bit mentally screwed up, right? A guy who's, into furries and I don't know what else he's into, right? But he's obviously screwed up. Thinks someone is a monster, right? Thinks Charlie's a monster, probably because of online shit where people call him a Nazi and, and a racist and all this other stuff, which is how you can radicalize people online without even thinking. You're not going to radicalize the sane people. You're going to radicalize insane people, and then they'll do insane things. But if you call someone a Nazi, that's the same thing as calling them a monster. And if you can convince an insane person to believe that, they will act on that. It's not that hard to believe. It happens a lot. So,
yeah, right. Y'all know they don't want to invite Candace in this. They would shut this space down if Candace got in here.
Powerful intelligence, agencies on the planet all got together, conspired to kill Charlie Kirk, and then screwed up the simplest shit like the exhaust on a car, or the caliber of the gun, or facing the scope the right way or the wrong way. All of this other nonsense, it's just stupid to believe that all these professionals got in there and Candace Owens in front of her desktop is the one that figured it out. No, she's not. And And Blake, I don't know you at all, but like, are you a professional investigator?
No, I'm a producer on a podcast radio show.
Okay, so that'd be like me asking my plumber why he didn't fix my electrical problem. Why on earth would I expect you to investigate this crime? Right? We have groups of people for that, and it's called law enforcement. And there were several agencies.
Bro, these people are annoying.
That's investigating this crime.
It's a whole bunch of like Fed sloppers getting up here talking about we have authorities that need to do their job. Why would Blake Neff care? Like, bruh.
And Nate, let's say someone's acting in good faith and they truly believe that the government isn't telling them the truth, especially with somebody with a lot of resources. You would think you would hire professionals to do that type of thing. You would hire people that could go over the forensics. You would talk to lawyers to talk about the case and the validity of the case. You would hire former whatever investigators to go investigate the scene for you. But the problem is she's not doing that because that doesn't create content. What creates content is deputizing your entire audience and saying, guess what? We're going to solve this together. Just send me some information to my email. And then every single important
that's funny.
This is provided. It's anonymous sources providing unverifiable information so conveniently every single time.
Well, yeah. Mason can so frivolously have, conspiracy theories. Here's mine. Candace got fired because she's vitriolic and, insufferable. And she's a disgruntled former employee. So there's two motivations at play. One, the conspiracy is lucrative.
Yeah, they definitely not going to let Diligent up there. I see him on here.
Scorned her, and implicate them in her conspiracy theories, then it brings them down as well, right? So I think there's two things. She's going to get paid, and she's going to make the people that made her uncomfortable now uncomfortable. Right, so that to me it's as simple as that. She's hell hath no fury, you know what I mean? Except that she's a particularly mean.
Bro, let's debate, bro. Get these folks off the mic.
Nate, that doesn't answer the theory. Why did she say that Charlie Crocetti was converting to Catholicism and had a Catholic funeral? And none of that was absolutely true at all. I mean, there's some things that don't fit in to just. I don't
know why she says it's enough.
Like the Catholicism rumor, like the context of this is ridiculous. Like I am Catholic. Justin Strife, the COO of Turning Point, is Catholic. One of our lawyer guys is Catholic. Like there are a lot of Catholics at Turning Point USA, and like it would have been the easiest thing in the world for. Well, I don't want to say the easiest thing in the world because who knows? There's all these religious things, but it would have been easy for Charlie to convert to Catholicism and. Like, I know he actually appreciated Catholicism in a lot of ways. I think he liked the ritual stuff of it. I think he maybe even liked the idea of sacraments. But in the end, Charlie, was very Protestant in his approach to religion. Like, he believed a lot in the individual's capacity to, read and interpret scripture. I don't think he liked the idea of having to listen to, a libtard pope who might tell him various annoying things he disagrees with. He got along incredibly well with tons of different pastors, But Charlie was fundamentally he was a very individualist Christian who marched to the beat of his own drum, which is why he does his Saturday Sabbath that he calls Shabbat because he's good friends with Dennis Prager. It's why, yes, he did like sometimes going to Catholic services because he liked the ceremony aspect of it. It's why we had an Eastern Orthodox priest on the show just a few weeks before the shooting because he was interested in what's going on with Eastern Orthodoxy. I want to learn more about it and how it works. That is how Charlie approached Christianity. He was deeply interested in it. He appreciated the different strands of it. But this would come up on the show. We'd have our AMA, and I think at one point it was either in the AMA or maybe even during a normal show segment. He started talking I like how Catholics honor Mary. I think that's pretty cool. He'll say stuff like that, but the claim that means he was literally changing religions to Catholic. I mean, I think I would have known about it if he was doing that, and I had absolutely no sign that he was doing so. I think, who knows, if he'd lived another 10 years, maybe it would have happened. But
Blake, Charlie was probably more Catholic than Candace ever was. She never did her Catholic conversion and didn't even do it when she was in Europe. So, anyways, the whole thing is just ridiculous. The Tverskin suit of Catholicism that she did and then espoused the things.
Man, I am disappointed because what are we doing right now? They acting like they wanted to debate and bring people up for questions. This is a Fed Slop group chat right now. I'm really not trying to listen to this. I'm trying my best though.
But the whole thing is bizarre because Mrs. Kirk had Charlie's necklace in her hand, and so they said, "Oh no, this is his rosary." From the beginning, it was bizarre behavior. None of it was normal from the beginning, and it was a total propaganda op by her. I just, anyways, sorry, I just wanted to jump in on this. It's just there's certain things that you can't even try to figure out or justify. Why would somebody do this or the other? But I find it fascinating that there's a whole set of people that are more interested in destroying TPUSA and more interested in putting a target on Mrs. Kirk's back and on anybody that walks in and out of the TPUSA building, and to make kids uncomfortable on campuses so that they can't just go and debate whoever that's showing up there, and to create a subversion in the Republican right-wing community for whatever reason. For whatever reason they have, whether we're capitalists, we believe in people having an economy and making money, but there's like sometimes you go too far, and then you have to figure out with yourself and with your, I say with your God, there's one true God, but how you're gonna make your peace later on in life. But this is a very weird thing, such a public assassination of a very key profile figure in politics, especially after Donald Trump's attempted assassinations, repeated ones, is an unusual thing for our age group. So like 45 and unders, we're not used to that other than what we saw happening to Trump. So there's a whole generation that are older than us that went through the JFK thing, right? And they had their experience with it. And the Israelis had their experience. And then in the UK, they've had an experience with, I think one of their prime ministers was shot, right? We had Ronald Reagan, but most of us were way too young then to have an impact of like the attempted, assassination of a president. So this was a very big thing. But the assassination culture on the left is a very well-known thing. It's that for us, when you see Charlie and what he was doing in life.
Yeah, she absolutely just lied. That's why I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? She definitely went over there and did her thing. And she's like, she went over there. She never did her, confirmation, whatever they call it. She's just talking, bro.
I had a lot of questions before I went to UVU. After I saw what happened at UVU and how easy this was to actually pull off, and understanding the dynamics that were involved, it just made it all made sense to me. Sassy, go ahead, Stealth. Did you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, sorry. No, I felt bad other people are waiting, but I wanted to say something before Blake leaves about another thing about UVU, but I'll say it and I'll wait for somebody.
No, you go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay. So, yeah. Blake, I spoke to Andrew, I think yesterday maybe it was yesterday or the day before. It was like Saturday evening for a couple hours on some things. Hopefully he'll get you some of the stuff over to you. But for me personally, I'm not an influencer. I don't monetize anything. So none of this matters to me. I don't have a YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. But I do the Twitter spaces. And my biggest issue was that UVU was put on I was monitoring because of the Trans-Tifa Salt Lake City group that was there, because there was a lot of involvement with Cuba, and on campus at UVU there was involvement with 3 organizations there.
I don't know how diligent Zach Costello, everybody. I don't know how we getting through this. I think we're all waiting for the tough questions to come, but this is annoying.
Him traveling to Cuba or anything for any type of training or anything like that, as far as I know. But Elias Rodriguez, who had done the 2 assassinations in DC of the 2 embassy employees, a girl named Sarah, she's a Christian girl from Kansas City who's working at the Israeli embassy, and her fiance, who's actually a German Christian missionary who grew up in Israel when he was young and was working at the Israeli embassy. And Elias Rodriguez was part of a through line through the individuals that were part of the Trans-Tifa terror group, or whatever you want to call them. And the woman who led it is an Iranian transgender who's currently living in the Cuban embassy, okay? And she runs the ground game, or he, whatever you want to call it, runs the ground game and is heavily trained in Cuba. A whole group of people at UVU were. I did not know Charlie Kirk's schedule. I never followed TPUSA. Like, obviously love the work that you guys do. But and all my friends are at all the events in Amfest, and they're all very, involved with everybody high up. But I was speaking directly with the administration over and over and over again about this network out of UVU, specifically because they had a murder of a MAGA supporter about 18 months prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination. But this was at one of the hubs of U.S. American students that are being recruited and radicalized both from inside the university and then outside the university, and part of these trans Tifa groups, which were very concerning to me, aside from the pro-Palestinian nonsense, and were being trained down in Cuba. And some of them go there, for the Connie training, and others go for more kinetic training, as Elias Rodriguez was involved with. And he's now sitting for death penalty in D.C. for his attack. Unity of Fields. I'm just going to say these names, and you could look it up later. But anyways, my analysis of that location is, and I literally spoke to them. I said, you cannot have people do events at this school unless you're sure that these groups are not going to perhaps do some type of terror. Because we were just at the beginning of mapping out all the different DSA and Trans-Tifa overlaps with these Cuban troops and these PSL organizations. You can see now we're going after Neville Singham and the People's Forum and all these groups and everything. This has nothing to do directly with Tyler Robinson. The question is were there people in the Discord chat from that school? Was there, the FBI should have had a firm reporting on the fact that these groups were both on campus and out of campus as a threat risk, just a basic threat risk. And this might have been in the, the security packet that was given over. But this is something that needs to be under consideration because, had I known that he was having that as his first trip, I would have been, very aggressive on making sure that his event was be inside versus outside. Although I'm sure he's been repeatedly told, hey, it's maybe safer to do something inside. It's no, I'm going to do this outside. It's very similar to Trump. I was also very ahead of the whole Trump rally thing before his the third attempt of his assassination. But I had spoken to Sebastian Gorka about this. I did it in a Twitter space where he spoke about it privately and publicly, and I was like, Secret Service is not doing sufficient stuff for the president. They are going to get him. And I was very adamant about this.
What's going on, Golden Cat? You did not miss much. We had extreme technical difficulties at the beginning of the show. So I had to scrap the whole thing. And now we also found out a unexpected live space with Blake Neff is happening. So it kind of worked out. So we just listening to this unexpected live space, that X space that Blake Neff is in with Paramount Tactical and stuff like that. So that's what we doing now. Just seeing if he's gonna snitch on himself again, seeing if they're gonna, answer any tough questions. It was happening, but now I don't know what this is, bro. Chatter around the cafeteria table.
And if need be, I know the outside event's very nice because of weather and optics, and it's casual. People show up, they walk out, and it feels more organic. But we're living in a very bizarre time, and sadly, and I personally have a tremendous amount of guilt myself that I didn't know Charlie's schedule, and I never paid attention to that because I never even thought about it. I was thinking about other of these groups and other of our principals from the administration, where they're going, what they're doing, and we were mapping out other potential situations in the U.S. that are actively going on. And that's probably what I'm most upset about. So I'm close to Paramount and other people for the same fact that I'm just concerned, and I want kids to be able to go to these events on campus, and I want you guys to feel safe walking around like normal people, and that this shouldn't be a politically motivated thing. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Please make sure that.
Bro, shut up, bro. Oh my gosh. What the heck is Blake in the chat for?
I wasn't a part of it, but this was discussed sort of afterwards that security brought up. It is inherently, there is more hazard in any outdoor event because it is harder to control access to the person. And I think Charlie was aware of that. And the reason he went for the big outdoor events anyway is for reasons I think we could all understand, which is when he did a big outdoor event on campus, thousands upon thousands of people showed up. He could get huge crowds.
especially the kind of people he wanted to reach, which is the sort of person who walks by is like, hey, what's that? And they just decide to check it out and listen. And
like the looky-loos.
You can change their mind. Whereas if it's an indoor event at night where you register in advance, you're getting your haters, you're getting your fans, and you're not really getting that many people in between because they're not going to do that sort of thing. They're not going to give away their evening to that. But if you're out on the quad, they walk by, they see, oh, there's a big crowd, and the crowds could be enormous. And that's what Charlie cared about. And he recognized there was risk to that. And in the end, I think one thing, and it's painful to say this, but it is true, is none of us, unless you're really the president of the United States, none of us are absolutely safe from, well, even the president isn't, but unless you're the president, you don't have this full-time, massive squad of people whose only purpose is keeping you safe from every conceivable threat. Did Charlie have security? Yes, he did. And yet at the same time, Charlie, he came into the campus in a car. Someone could have walked up with a handgun and just tried to shoot him then. That could have happened at any time. Was Charlie's address public? No, but could someone have found it out? I suspect probably. And then someone goes there, hangs out, tries to get lucky. That's always something that can happen to you. You can mitigate risk. You can tolerate more risk. But in the end, our safety is in the hands of God. And I think Charlie understood that. And he lived his life thinking, I want to reach more people. I want to change more people's views, potentially change more people's lives. And we regret that now, but I don't know that Charlie would regret living his own life that way, given the impact he was able to have.
No, I know that. I know that.
Sassy, go ahead. And folks, I'm probably going to shut this down in about, I'm hoping an hour. It'll probably go a little longer. But the requests are piling up, and I want to get everybody in here. So if you can, limit your comments to about a minute. And let's try to get some more people's points of view in here as much as possible.
1 minute.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi. First of all, Blake, I want to say that I'm praying for you and Andrew and the whole TPUSA team. But I also think we need to pray for the kids and the people that witnessed what happened to Charlie, because that had to be very traumatic for them. And now that I said that, what my main argument with Candace and how she's approaching her whole investigation is I don't think she's operating in good faith. I think it's very apparent. And I think she is full of vitriol and hatred. And I think Nate, was that his name? He said that she comes off like a disgruntled employee. I mean, there's a common denominator of Daily Wire, TPSA, PragerU, and every place she's worked, there's not a friendly relationship. She is the common denominator. But my main, I'm sorry for rambling, my main argument with her is how she mocks other Christians for quoting scripture, like Ali Stuckey and Dana. I don't know.
Yeah. I requested to speak. It still hasn't been accepted. I'm sure a lot of people have requested to speak. But no, I requested to speak. I'm in line, but it has not been accepted yet.
It's not in the pursuit of truth. It's in pursuit of her bank account. And that's all I have to say.
I mean, I think what that gets at, which is very true, is if you just follow Candace's behavior over the past 10 months, just generally, it is that it almost always has this tone of extremely bitter mockery, sarcasm, cruelty, where it would just not be justified. So even when it's very early on, when she's finding a new person to pick on with one of her conspiracy theories, so if she's bullying our camera guy or a different tech crew member or a security team, it very quickly gets extremely just nasty towards that person, ridiculing them if they try to.
Exactly.
And you can, if you think there's something there, you can be a serious person. You can lay out, I have the following questions. I would like these things to be answered, and be earnestly serious about it. And Candace is almost never genuinely serious about anything. This shines through in her tone. She's always got that smirk on her face. She always like she loves to she loves to do that way. She does all these things.
Oh my God, I saw them stand this for right here on the track for a moment.
It was like she was in the room.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. And I think the one that stands out to me, I've brought it up a few times now, but it stands out to me is when she aggressively ridiculed Charlie's Shabbat ritual. Like when Erica was talking about it, he'd get home, like he'd put the phone away, and like then he was in Shabbat mode. He spent the next 24 hours with his family, and she really bullied this idea. I think that's where that like daddy's home thing came from. She loved to say Shabbat Shalom, like in a super mocking tone. She suggested that Charlie's book about it was like fabricated entirely after the fact. She was running all these things with it, and like first of all of that like didn't even have anything to do with the murder. So she's being cruel about something that just relates to Charlie's life. She made fun of it as if it was ridiculous, when in fact, like, it was trivial. It was trivial to be like, actually, Charlie said Shabbat Shalom at the end of his show every Friday, which you might know, Candace, if you had literally ever watched a Friday show of his in the past 3 years. And so it was like so perfectly revealing the smug arrogance, the derision and nastiness towards an actual very important part of Charlie's life. And that's something I like to point to when people try to claim, like, actually Candace loved Charlie and she cares about him and is trying to just find the truth about him. She goes and she aggressively ridicules one of the things that Charlie touted the most and cared most about in the final years of his life. And I think that is completely incompatible with her being someone who actually cared about Charlie in any capacity. And I just think this shines through all of her behavior over the past 10 months.
Great. Jeanette, I'm going to let Jeanette go, and then Sinful Smalls, you're up next.
Thank you. Hi, Gary. Hi, Blake. So for people who think she's a good faith actor, like Mason, I was going to just say, if she was a good faith actor, when she finds out that people she accused of wrongdoing are innocent, like Mike McCoy, a lot of other people, or that like all this information she shares about these people get her nowhere with her investigation, she should publicly, and any good faith actor investigator would publicly either apologize or acknowledge that she made a mistake, but she never does it. She never does it. How can you call her a good faith actor? I don't understand.
She's done it before. They just don't listen to Candace. They only listen to selective hearing, bro. She's definitely said, I got it wrong before, and corrected something on, corrected the record. Like, oh my goodness, these people are annoying. You didn't see Candace today? It was a great episode. Great first day back. She's missed a lot, and she's definitely going to cover a lot. Give them time to respond. Favorite thing ever when people stream spaces on tubes. I'm going to try to do it more often. This is interesting. Love how he stays on blast. Middle finger to the judge, gag order.
That she's offered an earnest apology to anyone about that. And I think that's a very strong sign of someone who...
Why are we listening to this BS? I agree. This is very annoying. I'm going to try my best to get through it. I would much rather have played what I was scheduled to play tonight, but the whole technical difficulties going for 15, 20 minutes, it was done. It was done. So probably have to save it for tomorrow night. So we just listening to things on the fly right now.
Whoever Tyler spoke with, because I know it's going to be some random staffer or some random volunteer, and they're going to try to find this person and bother them. And I can say, I got doxxed by CNN in 2020. You can Google it if you care about that. Plenty of people already have. And that sucked. That absolutely made my life hell for a week, and it made me in a very bad state for 6 months. But the result of that is I'm pretty tough now. I can deal with Candace and anyone else throwing fake bullshit at me all day because I got tough. But people at Turning Point who are 24 years old, people at Turning Point who have never sought any publicity whatsoever and aren't used to being in the public eye, it is difficult for those people to face wild attacks, and it's incredibly stressful for them. It bothers them, and it greatly increases the difficulty of getting through what's already a difficult time. I have never seen the slightest sign that Candace or Baron or any of these other people cares about that. And I think that is strongly indicative of their characters.
Agreed. Sinful Smalls, go ahead, and then Amber is next, and then Trillion. We got you in the speaker spot. Did you want to speak after that?
They accepted. They accepted Project Constitution, so it might get good. Hopefully, it gets good.
I just want to say I'm sorry for what you guys at your show and the TPUSA people have been dealing with, and what happened to Charlie. I'm really sorry about that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to point out, like, recently in the last, like, at least a couple months ago, I've noticed like a lot of former people that watch Candace a lot have kind of come out and been like, I don't really know about that anymore, about the whole conspiracy thing. So to like anyone else that's like kind of like on the line who's not, you know, doing this or believes there's a conspiracy because, oh, they just don't like Erica or whatever, like you truly feel like it's weird, you don't understand, you don't know what's going on, that's fine. But like, when it comes to trials and stuff like this, you know, it's not unusual for things not to come out. It's actually a good thing because we don't want to pollute, you know, potential jurors of knowing things or that they should not know yet. I mean, look back at like Casey Anthony or
like the 4K. I saw a 4K video of Tyler Robinson taking the shot, and it was him. We saw him. We saw his face. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, these folks coming up here don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, finna piss me off, man.
About the enhanced John Madden style footage from the event, where I've seen them trot out, where they've said like, "Oh, here's their plan. They're gonna have their designated influencers watch this and then come out and say this is all what's in the video." Well, keep in mind the prosecution just wanted to put this on in open court, and everyone could watch and reach their own conclusions about it. The only people who have been fighting to keep evidence from being seen over the past week has been the defense team. They argued against showing the full Lance Twiggs video. They argued against showing the enhanced or zoomed in, or however you want to describe it, footage from campus. They have been the ones who have fought to keep pieces of evidence concealed. And it is not the prosecution that has done that at any point.
Y'all literally was up there. Erica's representative was up there saying, can y'all release more? What are you talking about?
You know, just think about who you're watching too. Okay, I'm not trying to tell people who to watch, who not to watch.
So shut up then.
But I guess I am.
Right, exactly.
Think about it for a minute, because I didn't want this to be like a both sides thing, like, oh, this side against this side. You know, I think from the beginning I felt like, yeah, this is weird that he was assassinated, and who could it have been? You know, I mean, we're nearly at war with Iran at the time. I think this was after, you know, the strikes on the nuclear sites, and we're in a proxy war with Russia. Yeah, that could have been something from the beginning. I was like, oh God, did they do it? You know, but you know, sometimes the truth is a lot more simpler and not as complex. I mean, we're talking about, oh, the state prosecution's in it now, the defense is in on it now, the governor of Utah or something,
because that's never happened before in human history. That's never ever happened before in human history, where there is this large cover up where government is involved, the court system is involved. Our court system and judicial system is already corrupt as it is.
Overly dramatic, being cute, you know, playing around, like, oh, tune in next time, or just and mocking people that they say are suspects. Oh, they're just suspects. Oh, I just think they may be involved. But they're mocking them. I mean, just think about it like this.
Evidence.
Yeah, just think about this. If it turns out Erica was involved, which is going to be the case, she was involved. She didn't do anything. How bad are you? How bad should you people feel? At least the ones that are really pushing all this are going to feel for mocking her. I mean, I've had deaths in the family, nothing like this, of course. And I saw what it did to my parent after losing their loved one. And there was one day where everything was just fine, and then the next day it was, you know, problems like, let's just say with like drinking, you know, or something like that.
I don't feel bad
family events, oh, everything's just
at all.
Home. It's just a disaster. It's not great, and that's just an everyday person.
Bruh, I think he kicked Project Constitution off.
Political organization.
He was accepted as a speaker. Now he's not there no more.
Babies and all that stuff. So just look at it like that. Put yourself in their shoes, and I think things would be a lot more clear. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys.
I think some folk. Amber, go ahead, and we'll see who's next.
Okay. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, hi. Yeah, I guess I just start off by saying, Blake, my condolences to you guys as well.
Man, oh man. I ain't trying to hear nobody else get up here and apologize to freaking Blake Neff, bro. Like,
really shameful to see everything that's happened over the last 9 or 10 months. And I used to be, I'm a Candace convert. I was listening to her. I didn't go way back with her or anything like that. I started listening to her when I was deployed to Germany, and like she was covering the Bridget Macron stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting because I was over there by France. But and then I think then when Charlie was assassinated, it just sent like shock waves everywhere. And I think that everybody was super vulnerable at that time. And I mean, I believed her that she was a good friend with Charlie. I didn't know her background with him. I didn't know, I didn't know anything about their relationship like back in 2017, 2018 or anything. And then I think, I felt like, okay, maybe, we're gonna try to dig in and see what's going on here. But then I think there was like a noticeable turn when my spirit did not feel good anymore. It was like it turned into this mean girl thing, and it was just like emotional manipulation is how I felt, that she was manipulating people that were vulnerable. And then I started saying, okay, I need to use my critical thinking. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to start, pull myself out of the emotion and start doing some fact checking when she mentions things.
Dog. First off, stop talking. Secondly, you got Blake Neff in the chat, and these folks is sitting here talking about they self. Get the freak on somewhere. Go to bed. I'm trying to, you got Blake Neff in the chat where we have so many. I guess they don't care. They don't have any questions. They just think it's Tyler Robinson. Go home. It's time to go to bed. It's Tyler Robinson, case closed, slam dunk case, whatever they be saying, open and shut. So they don't have any questions. But what is this kumbaya around the fire pit for, bro? Blake Neff is in the chat and nobody's asking him a thing. We sit here, got these folks coming up here with personal testimonies talking about, oh my gosh, bro.
It's just sick. And then all these people that are networked with her, all of them, and you guys know who you are. It's shameful that you are deceiving people and that you're intentionally lying and or obfuscating, and you're covering up things and to fit your narrative, and it is shameful that you're profiting off of.
Yeah, Blake Neff is in an X space right now at this moment. It was an unexpected X space with Paramount Tactical, so it had potential, and then a whole bunch of birds got in here, and now everybody apologizing to Blake Neff, and everybody's just bashing Katniss.
And moved away from that. That gives me hope, because I hope that others who are currently enmeshed in that, we can hopefully move them in the same direction. Because it is as you say it. I think it would be lying to say that Candace is not a very talented show host, a very charismatic individual. I think it is a dark charisma. I feel I can pretty quickly see what's going on, but I can understand other people may not see it as quickly. She's good at her job. That's why she gets the amount of viewers that she does. But you are correct. Once you look for these things, you see them. The darkly, the manipulative things, the dishonest things, the mean girls type things. And I like to emphasize those because I think even if it's getting away from the specific conspiracy stuff, I think it gets at the important reality of the type of person she is and what she's trying to do. It's like how early on in the first couple months, before she was even really aggressively going after Erica as hard as she later did, she was putting out those tweets and videos or whatever, like talking about dates Charlie supposedly went on in 2018, 2019, where like the only purpose of this is to be like, hey, Erica, I know about other girls that he might have gone on dates with, and she's like dangling this over her head, like, oh, maybe I'll have more. Maybe I'll talk about Charlie kissing a girl. Ooh, what if I drop that? Like, the only purpose of this is to hurt Erica. And I think a very important aspect for seeing the truth of this is when she does things where the only purpose is not to find the truth, not to investigate the shooting, not to debunk a supposed claim about the shooting, when the only purpose of this is to hurt Erica or hurt other people close to Charlie, I think is very strongly indicative of what her agenda is. And she does this a lot, and she was doing it from the very beginning. She was doing that stuff in October of last year.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, again, folks, try to keep comments down to about a minute or so. We have over 24 requests. I do want to try to get everybody in here. I'm not going to hold this face all night. I got to get to bed at some point here. So, again, try to keep it as pithy and as succinct as possible. With that being said, Trillian, you're up, and CJ, you'll be up next. And folks, people that have talked, I'm probably going to drop you down out of the speaker. Don't think I'm kicking you out. And then if you want to talk again, send up another request. We'll try to cycle everybody through. Trillian, go ahead.
Hey, Blake, thanks for doing this. For the record, I don't think Erica Kirk had anything to do with Charlie's assassination, but I do have a question for you. So recently, it was in fact Gary's podcast with Jeremy Boring. Jeremy Boring lays out the argument that he would have never put Ben Shapiro in that chair, meaning that the security setup, even for not a security expert, was obviously not acceptable, the threat risk, especially for who Charlie was, future president of the United States, as Michael Knowles claims. I'm wondering if you could tell us.
Oh, I see you said Diligent just posted that. I'm an hour behind, but Gary is mainly the one talking. You didn't miss nothing. You can skip to right now. You didn't miss a thing.
Specifically chosen, considering that even Jeremy Boring says that he would have never put Ben Shapiro in that seat.
I was not involved in the selection of the site or any discussions about it. What I can say secondhand from speaking to people who were involved is they have said Charlie himself really specifically liked that site at UVU. He liked the idea of an amphitheater, that when you pan the camera across it, it's going to be filled with thousands of people, and it will look like even more. An amphitheater is that sort of environment is perfect for making the crowd look as dramatic and big and impressive as possible. And Charlie was a guy who thought about that. I think one of my favorite examples, I think it was what Charlie said about indoor events like Amfest, is he would say, like, I think go wide, not deep is the line he would say, because if you have a room and it's full and you're panning the camera across and you just keep having more and more people as you go, it's going to make the room look like way more people are in it than the same number of people stretched backward vertically. Then the room is going to look emptier and smaller. That's the sort of stuff Charlie talked about and thought about. And so,
but was Charlie told that for instance, is a open carry campus?
Okay, a lot of states are open. A lot of states have open carry in red states.
It's just that it seems like optics, things that are good for the camera, overrode like the actual security threat. And what we're told is that the UVU campus actually specifically told their team that this area would be almost impossible to secure. So you would think that you would go above and beyond to secure the venue, such as maybe with drones or putting more people on roofs, or just none of that was a concern.
My understanding is Charlie really personally liked the amphitheater environment because it would allow a ton of people to be there. It would be an incredibly impressive visual, something he cared about. It would look great and it would feel great and it would be a great event. And he thought about things like that. That's why he liked doing more big outdoor events. He evolved in that direction over time because it allowed more people to be at them. And like I said, I wasn't in them. I wouldn't be surprised if someone said there will be more security risks with this. And he said, I'll take that because I want to reach the most people and put on the biggest and best events. But as I said,
do you know, last question, do you know who specifically went to the campus to scope it?
When that decision was made, so I am speaking secondhand, but I repeatedly heard people say that Charlie was very excited specifically about that amphitheater environment.
I'm just wondering, so you said you're hearing it secondhand. Would you name who specifically went scouted that location and who you heard that secondhand information from?
No,
was it Dan or was it someone else? Was it Elizabeth?
Who scouted the location, and no, I don't recall who specifically told me this. I just recall that I have been told this.
All right, thanks, Blake.
Thanks, Trillian. All right, we're going to have CJ Correnti, and it'll be Jack Tron, Lisa Knows, Nish Perez, and even Project Constitution and Z. We'll keep in that order. Try to keep your comments or your questions short. CJ, go ahead.
Project Constitution is back up, but he said he's like 7th or 8th in line.
I actually have a question for you because I was in your space earlier, and you were talking about Gary on Jeremy's show, how he saw the live broadcast. Now, I'm not speaking on behalf of Gary here, but there was a live broadcast going on.
Is this for me?
No, this is actually for Trillions. I'm asking him.
Did CJ just cut out?
Can you hear me?
Or is it me?
No, I hear him. He's asking a question about the live stream. But did you finish the question or not yet?
No, I haven't finished it yet. You were saying, how did you see a live stream? And I think Adam Bartholomew, I think he was in here earlier. He was streaming live, I think, a few minutes after. 12:30, I think, 12:40, I think he went on. But I can't speak on behalf of Gary, of what he was seeing live, but there was a live broadcast that was going on. But what was your question? Because I saw the post and everything, and I just want to be clear about it. And this is not an attack, I'm just asking a very simple question.
So the question was, so we actually talked to Bartholomew yesterday. He told us that as the gunshot happened, his live feed cut out. It was Gary making the claim that first he couldn't remember, and then he said that he thinks he did watch the live stream. Dana Loesch made the same claim. In fact, during her podcast, somehow they were watching the live stream. So the question was just simply, where were you watching the live stream? I don't think it was Bartholomew's footage. I don't think that's what Gary would have been watching. There's just some rumors that there was a live stream hooked up for a select few of that specific event. So that's all the question is if you did watch it live, how did you watch it? Was it Bartholomew's or was it something else? Because Bartholomew's stream went off.
Well, for whatever reason, audio cut out for me I understand the gist of the question, though. And just like I told you already, Trillion, I don't remember. I can't remember specifically if I was watching it live or shortly thereafter, but it was within minutes. Why do you say that? I'm just telling you I don't remember. And you're like, of course.
I mean, it's such a big event.
Of course you forgot.
This is such a profound.
I don't remember if I was watching it live or not. I mean, you can accept that answer, and that is the truth. On a stack of Bibles, I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just telling you, if it wasn't live, then it was moments after, and I genuinely don't remember. And you can accept that.
Well, where do you remember first seeing it on X?
Yeah, I think so. And if it wasn't live, then like I said, it was shortly thereafter. It probably wasn't live. It most likely wasn't live. I don't know.
Oh my gosh! Of course.
Are we ever going to get any of the TPUSA footage from the event?
How should I know?
I mean, you're pretty connected.
I don't work at TPUSA, but
so you're connected.
I imagine it's possible it will be. The judge was looking at what I believe was footage from the event at the pretrial. If all of that is made
right, a stack of Bibles.
Maybe it'll be seen there, but I don't know Utah's rules.
Does TPUSA not fund the show? Is the show funded through ulterior means?
The show is under Resolute Media because it was a for-profit enterprise.
And Resolute Media was Charlie Kirk and Andrew Kovacs' company?
I don't know the exact distribution of ownership, but yeah, it was certainly Charlie owned some large share of it, yeah.
So now Erica, that's passed on to Erica, right? She's
I don't part of Resolute Media, so I don't know the way the company's structured. I just work for it.
All right, cool. Thanks.
CJ, no, one more thing, last thing. I'm thinking probably the next day or two, I think Candace is probably going to pull the other theory that there was a unspent round on the computer science building. I was in a space last week, and I chimed in. Somebody brought me up there, and I chimed in, and I said it's completely impossible because you can't shoot through.
On a whole stack of Bibles, facts. They keep telling on themselves, facts. Anna, what's up? How you doing?
That slope that's on that top part, you just can't. There's no way. You have to be Spider-Man to stick to that. I said that last week. So, she'll probably come up with that this week. I'm willing to bet it.
Well, and to be clear on this, now the messaging on this is that it's a bullet. It's not a bullet. It's a unfired round. That was 223. The explanation that was given makes perfect sense to me. They were clearing.
Of course it does. Of course.
To the top, they realize it's clear. The officer decides to lock and clear his firearm. That sounds like it's standard procedure there in Utah. I mean, you can either accept that or not. But I mean, the explanation holds. And
I don't.
The way, I don't even know where we're going with that because clearly the medical examiner said that it was a 30 caliber family round. I don't know where the end point of that argument is.
And I lied. One more last thing. I think Ben posted up, in the bin there about the distortion of photos from the CCTV cameras. But I put a pretty good explanation on how things will distort and look, different to the eye. I know it's the front of his vehicle / car, but I'll do one for the back of his car for the exhaust. Maybe tomorrow or something. But it's pretty good explanation how those fisheye lenses will play tricks on you.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing that. Mid-Gray also, I posted that down in the comments down below, so you guys go check that out. Look at his analysis, and again, take it for what it is. Anything else, CJ? Is that good?
Come on.
Jacktron, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for having me up. So, two things. One, I want to say that something that Candace put out recently was this photo of Tyler Robinson at a Dairy Queen. And this was something that was pointed out to me recently, that in that photo, he is wearing a white logo Hurley hat. And the significant thing about this is not only is the suspected shooter in the video wearing that maroon shirt as Tyler, but also wearing that same hat. The same hat that he is, as I said, not just on the campus, but at the Dairy Queen and the following night when he turned himself into the police. So based on that, the evidence that this is the only real evidence that I have actually seen that has meant anything. And it makes her claims look even more absurd because it makes Robinson look even more guilty. So that just goes to my thinking. Like, I do not think that Candace is actually a very intelligent human being. Keep in mind, she recently said that she only just found out that lightning causes thunder and said that July 4th, 1776 was the Boston Tea Party.
She didn't know what temperature water freezes either, so there's that whole thing.
And not only that, she also thinks dinosaurs are fake.
There we go. No, look, I don't know.
Get these people off this.
This is not. I agree with your assessment, but the fact is, I think most of what she's stating she knows to be false, but she knows that her gullible followers will believe it, will propagate it, her downstreamers will perpetuate it, and kind of that's where we're at. The eclectic journalist, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Send it.
Okay, I just wanted to I just wanted to tell Blake something. Can you hear me, Blake?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a YouTube channel, and I did a 14-part series on Candace, going all the way back to where before she started as a conservative, firebrand. But during that series, I was given information that seems to line up very well with the fact that he was pulling the clips that he used for that. Please be quiet for a second. That she used for that newspaper, the clippings she used of Eric's family, she was pulling those as far back as September 28th was one of the earliest ones. And there was an account that this whoever was clipping these newspaper clippings from like the old sites and stuff where you get that, they had an account, and we could see what else they were clipping, and it all kind of corresponded with her show. And so I put that in one of my...
So just to make sure I'm following this, basically it's suggesting that the really intrusive investigation into like Erica's life started even in September of last year?
Yes, and then the most significant thing that proved this account is connected to Candace somehow is the very next day, as I was editing that video, Ben Shapiro brought up that she had mentioned Clock Tower, a company in Russia. While she was in Russia, she mentioned a company, and I, in my video, a couple days before that, said, I don't know what this clock tower is, but it's also associated with this account. So it has to be related to her, possibly. And it was pulling clips on Erica's family and stuff in September. The stuff she talked about in The Bride of Charlie. And so I don't know if that information is beneficial to you guys at all.
I've ever heard of it. It's possible others know about it. Like I don't know what everyone else knows. But that
I don't know.
Well, nobody really knows about me. I'm a very small YouTube channel, so that's why I wanted to let you know.
Can I find you under your moniker here?
Oh
okay,
yeah,
I'll take a look at that. That's very interesting to me.
And I know Gary as well. Like we're friends.
Awesome. I'll genuinely look into that because
just shot you claiming publicly.
That would point towards what I said, which is I have felt that the plan was to do this sort of character assassination, Mean Girls, bully side type operation on Erica from the very beginning. I think all of the evidence is there, even in October or September, as you say, but definitely in October. And it's just escalated from there because there's been this effort to spin it that she only started going after Erica after she met her in December and decided she was lying to her or whatever. And that's just false. It's very clear that Erica was the target before then, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also I have a bonus little mini series to go on to my Candace Owens, The Narrative Machine series that is for widows and for Erica Kirk specifically, where I have been going through historical treatment of widows and then historical treatment of public widows and comparing that with Erica and bringing in
tomato. Oh my gosh, bro. These people, man, these people that are on their side are just like, or on that side, it's just annoying to listen to. It's not even like interesting. It's not like. All right, Project Constitution is 2 people away.
Hey, thanks for calling on me.
Project Constitution and Z is gonna come with it.
I just wanted to say, Blake, you and everyone have handled themselves wonderfully against people, even people like Z attacking.
Y'all are funny.
Chapters and things like that. Lies.
That's hilarious.
You can address that when it's your turn. Just let's keep it.
I need an answer from her, but
that's fine.
Anyway, especially Erica, like the way that she's handled everything. I love that she is staying above board, and it's really inspiring. It's very inspiring to me. When I lost my brother in January, it was an example on how to deal with grief by just running into the arms of Jesus. So I just want, hopefully she can hear that from you guys, that when you see her, just that to keep it up. She's doing great. But as far as lies, Z, since you popped in,
I just hope that when y'all see her, tell her I said that. Bro, get the freak off the panel, man.
have no idea how the process works, and you decided to, instead of ask TPUSA how the chapters are built and
what do I need? Hold on. What do I need to ask if I start a chapter on my own? I went through their process and I started one.
Because you guys did it the back way, and you found
what is the back way
to get through it
by signing up on the website as a student. That's the back way. Yeah, well, that would be how anybody starts a chapter.
This is Z and Project Constitution gonna be on it.
No, that is not the turning point. That's not the Turning Point's way of doing it. They lay out the rules, not you. And the way to sign up for a chapter is through the Turning Point USA website.
Yeah.
No, my son started a chapter and he did it the right way, which is contacting first.
No, that's not how you do it.
And meeting in.
No, actually, you actually can't do that because I've called the Turning Point USA headquarters, and they actually don't even take calls about chapters. So what you're saying is a lie.
Nope, I did.
Oh, okay. We'll show it. Prove it.
Chapter. That's how I got a number, and that's how I got my son started his chapter
Prove
in
it.
high school, which is still not on their website. Because just because it's not on the high school website doesn't mean they're not meeting, and just because they're not on their website map doesn't mean they're.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you ask your son to join my chapter?
Because he doesn't hang out with losers.
Oh well, I'm the president, so you shouldn't be speaking to a president of a Turning Point USA chapter like that. Very disrespectful. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Continue.
Thanks. Good job on just making yourself look like a complete idiot.
Yeah, and how? I think you actually looked like a complete idiot. It was Blake Neff who's sitting in this chat who has no explanation for why 90% of their chapters were fake.
Hold on.
Facts.
You guys talk back and forth. Again, you're already being disrespectful.
How am I being disrespectful? I'm just answering the question.
Like, that's disrespectful.
No, I'm just responding to her weird laugh because she doesn't have any explanation for why I was able to start a chapter.
She's not mocking you, and if you're going to mock people on this, I'm just going to boot you. So I want to give you.
Y'all are 40 years old, and you created an X space talking trash about Candace.
You guys, I'm even going to let freaking Project Constitution, Colin, and talk in just a moment. But again, we're going to keep it civil, and we're not going to sit here and mock one another. Nish, did you have anything else to add to that?
Talking about respect.
Well, yeah, just basically, if you do end up finding that documentary, just don't fall for the lies. Like, the way that they did it was the way that they thought they should do it, that is supposed to be done. Just because you were able to create a chapter does not mean that that's how it's done. That was the first time I actually happened. And because I'm in Georgia, so by the way, that's why I know.
Oh, I called 75 schools in Georgia. Majority of them don't exist.
Any collusion or nefariousness, the fact that it's not on the map for the chapters does not mean there's any nefarious actions, because my son's chapter is up and running. They had meetings all last year and this year.
Congratulations, boo.
This year, they tried to do
1 of 100 is working up and running. Congrats.
They're still not on the website. So the fact that you're saying that that's proof that there's nefariousness, it's like you think that they just say, "Hey, donors, before you donate to us, please look at our website." That's how many chapters we have. No, they have different documentation that they hand and they show to their donors to then get donations.
How would you know that?
The club didn't get any money from donors, so if you got put on a website pin,
right,
that doesn't mean that there's anything
real
wrong.
quick, I think we're tracking the left and right views on that. Not politically, but just again, Blake, do you have any input on that? I don't know how chapters are started, how they're documented, anything else.
This is outside my wheelhouse. I don't know about how like Turning Point USA proper is organized, or its chapters.
Come on, man. Let Z up there.
If the chapters are fake, I don't know how like 3,000 people or whatever the number was were at our chapter leadership summit over the weekend. I'm sure there's the case where some chapters are very large and very active, and some chapters are smaller, and some probably like
start and there's a wave of enthusiasm, and then there's not really anyone leading it, so it falls apart. And I even actually spoke to someone at the leadership summit who talked about how, like, oh, we had a chapter and then it imploded and then I restarted the chapter. Like, I'm sure that's a story that happens. Something similar happens in organizations like the Boy Scouts when I was in it. There'd be a few troops that were amazing and there'd be other troops that would start and then they'd go under and then someone would restart it. That's how a lot of organizations are. But I'm just speaking generally. Like I said,
Come on, man. Let Z get up there.
Exactly the way Turning Point organizes those things or how it operates, that's not my wheelhouse. I work on the show.
Fair enough. All right, Colin, go ahead.
Whoa! You just skipped over Z. Thanks for letting me up, Gary. Oh no, it was Colin. It was Colin next. Okay. Project Constitution.
I'm not going to hold everybody up, but I got a couple quick questions for Blake. About the chapters, though, real quick, I will just say that it wasn't just Z. I mean, Z started it with the documentary, but there were multiple other independent investigators like Jay Apps, Honest Ash, and a bunch of others
Yes, sir.
that had gone through your guys' own chapter list and called them. And
Appreciate the shout out, Project.
actual chapters. So,
Colin, let me just stop you there. I don't think we're going to get any clarification on that tonight. I mean, that's not what Blake, he doesn't have anything to input on that. So that's not what he does.
Can I say something? Can I finish just to answer that real quick?
No, Nisha, get off the.
It mirrors what Blake said, which is what they have access to. It's not what they hand to their donors, which is the biggest, where it matters the most. They're saying that they're trying to rack in donations. When you're thinking about donating, you actually go to the source and they give you updated numbers. But you are able to reach via a website or via calling random chapters. And then, the people in the administration, admin, when you walk in, you ask them, hey, is there an America Club here? They'd say no, because they have no idea. So just because you ask.
From Australia, what's going on? Welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate you for joining. We are listening to an X Space with Blake Neff in it and Paramount Tactical.
The Tyler Robinson case whatsoever. I know that this is a continued smear campaign at TPUSA. Obviously, the same system was underway while Charlie Kirk, and if that's what we want to do, that you guys want to continue to just smear TPUSA and say it's some sort of corrupt organization, you're welcome to do that in your space. That's not the topic tonight. That's not the prompt. So what else you got, Colin?
Yeah, well, like I said, that's not why I'm here. I just wanted to make that point as well. Blake, I do have a question for you. Where is Charlie's body? Has his body been cremated, or is it in the ground somewhere? Because there's a lot of questions right now as far as that a lot of donors actually want to know that I've spoken to personally. They want to know what's happening with Charlie's body.
Why would that be their business? But go ahead.
Actually, that's what I'm going to say. That is none of your business, you creep.
Really? Okay. What about the video of Charlie allegedly saying that he wants Erica to take over TPUSA if something happens to him?
We've already covered that earlier.
No, we haven't, because we haven't released that video yet, and I want to know whether he will either release the video unedited or whether he will allow Candace to do it, because she has that video
Candace
and has asked to release it.
Candace has the full video. Why don't you go nag her to release it? It seems pretty weird that this big crusading truth teller is not releasing. Well, if supposedly has to, I guess you should go nag her about it. We've released the video. It's obviously real.
He said, "You creep."
Exactly as I predicted months ago, and we're not.
Well, when you release the,
not going to be bossed around by people. Where even if we release it, you'll be like, "Well, now you need to release the entire. You need to release the entire event footage so that we know it wasn't there. There's nothing funny about this." And then actually, you need to release.
No, that's not what we asked, Blake. No, what we asked for is we want the section that you guys released. And with the whole, you released it with a whole bunch of edited things and music behind it, and we just want the raw, unedited section, just that same section. We're not asking for the whole video.
Give it to you.
We want that unedited section.
Erica is like Maverick from Top Gun today. Like, why are we gonna get bossed around by you, bro?
It's not just him asking for it.
I'm asking you serious questions, and my investigation, everything I've done, has been in search of the truth. You're the only one that you guys have been the only ones that have
already released the video, and exactly as anticipated,
but you haven't. And Candace said, but
claim any.
okay, so
We could read.
can you just say?
And you'd say that was fake too.
Well, you said Candace has the video. You said she can release it. So you're telling me you guys will not copyright strike her?
That's the whole video. So I said, why don't you
She,
go nag her?
she does say she does say she had it.
Go release it. You should go nag her. I don't have any idea what she has. I don't send things to Candace.
She asked you directly whether she has your guys' permission, whether TPUSA will give her permission to release the video.
I don't work for TPUSA, and since when has Candace gotten?
Well, you know people that do.
Or anything.
By the way, I've also been somebody that was just like, Candace, just release it, bro. Bump it. Just she's admitted that she has the whole video. So I've said myself that she should just go ahead and release it.
We're not going to come to any resolution on that. I mean, that's just like TPUSA has stated their position on this multiple times. Like, I would rather keep it to the preliminary hearing. What has been said, what new has come out. If you got anything on that, drop it in the next 15 seconds.
Okay, I got one more question. What about the audio from the Rode microphone that Charlie was wearing? Can we get that?
What does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with everything. That you know, if that shows that there isn't an explosion, then more people would believe your 30-06 story.
Colin, what proves there was no explosion is that there was no explosion. Nobody heard anything. Nobody saw anything. I'm so like
there's pictures of the explosion.
No, there's one frame of motion blur. I already explained this earlier. This is simple physics.
There's bruises
on. Who cares about bruises?
Where the receiver was.
Hold on. Listen, Colin. I'll let you respond afterwards. But listen.
I was at the shooting. I was 20 feet away. I heard a crack. The crack was in front of me in the direction of the crowd. It was not in the direction of Charlie. That is why when the shot happens, you can actually see in video of me, I look up first rather than jerking my head up to the right, which is what I would do if I heard an explosion right next to me. Instead, I heard a crack out from the direction of the audience because there was a rifle shot from that direction. So, no,
I agree.
Yeah, they panicking over this question. These the real questions I've been waiting on.
As well.
Okay, so here's the proof there was no explosions, Colin. If you guys are saying that it was Pettin, all right, Pettin burns around 4,000 degrees centigrade. That's literally hotter than the surface of the sun. You're telling me that there was no burn marks, no nothing. There wasn't any smoke or anything.
No, there was burn marks.
There was burn marks on Charlie.
I've shown them on my channel.
Do you know what the burn marks from a 4,000 degree explosion would look like?
There shouldn't be burn marks at all.
There was no burn marks on the shirt itself. That is so thin that you can almost see through it.
Go compare it to the injuries from the pager attacks.
I have, and you still have an omnidirectional explosion.
So very similar.
It is nothing like that. You see parts of their clothing and everything else go flying through the air. It's not even close to that. Like, you guys are delusional if you think that this physics-defying nonsense. And I love it. Look, I love it. I love that you guys. I love that Candace. Shut up. I love that you guys are pushing this, and I hope you stick with it.
Shut up. Wow.
I thought it was you, but I'll tell Blake too. It's my space. Go ahead, Blake.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, you're saying, oh, you think there was a rifle shot. So they took a guy, and they walked him up onto a roof with a rifle and had him aim in the direction of Charlie and sync up, pulling a trigger at the exact same moment as this, like, hypothetical exploding neck microphone. Like, at that point, why wouldn't the conspiracy just involve shooting him? Like, what's the value add of throwing in this exploding neck microphone? Like, I don't mean to be like cruel here.
To cause chaos, to muddy up the works, to make people wonder, to cause exactly what's going on now with so many theories of what actually happened.
They went like a bad TV show, like, and they did it this way to sow confusion and fear. That's like a line that George Lucas would write in the Star Wars prequels. All of the evidence points towards, unfortunately, Charlie being killed by a rifle shot from distance.
What was that evidence?
That matches what happens.
List it off.
The sound people heard, It matches the fact that we have video of a guy climbing onto the roof. It matches spent rifle cartridge being found. It matches the rifle itself being found. It matches that a 30-06 bullet was taken out of Charlie's body. All of these
No, it wasn't.
Because did you hear Candace released today with
no evidence.
The round that they found is the ATF ballistics expert actually said that it was, I forget exactly the diameter she said, but
286.
today.
Hold on. It was a range of 286 to 301, and she said that was specifically it was important to give a range because of the damage and deformity of the round. Now, here's what the conspirators don't understand: is you're confirming that it went through a 30 caliber.
Dude, 40 years old, talking about conspirators.
What the bore diameter of a 30 caliber round is versus a 30 caliber rifle compared to the actual diameter of the projectile itself, it is 300 versus 308. And the reason for that is when the round goes into the barrel, it actually gets squished down a little bit to make sure that the pressure is maintained through the rear. And that's exactly what happened. So between deformity that would happen when it actually hits a target, hits bone, hits his spine, and deforms all the pieces, yes, they're going to get range because it's all messed up and you can't get an exact range. But the problem what you guys are saying is that it doesn't match anything else. It's still a 30 caliber rifle round.
Well, I don't know enough about ballistics to say either way on that. But I will. What about there were at least 25 different people there that said they heard a firecracker, not a gunshot.
Well, it depends on where you're going to be, Colin. Like people are going to hear differently. If you have a line of sight, it really doesn't matter what everybody hears. But look, everybody to the right of Charlie had a line of sight and therefore a direct line for the audio to get to them from everybody to the left. And still, even with that entire area, the entire courtyard is even when I was there, like you couldn't hardly hear over the waterfall. Like the acoustics of that are insane, and it's going to bounce off everything. You have nothing but hard, flat surfaces, so the round is going to bounce off. But what really narrows down what happened is Bartholomew's video. He had the best audio source there. You can clearly hear that it's a larger boom. It had the best dynamic range of any audio source other than probably what TPUSA had there.
He did not actually. UVU Review had the best audio of that event.
No, I've listened to them both. I don't know what they were using for audio source, but Bartholomew was just here. I don't know if he's still there, but you can hear that his microphone has a much larger dynamic range. It doesn't clip when the round goes off. And by the way, you're not even, and we also know that there was a supersonic event. I don't know what you're claiming because first you're claiming there was a round and there's a supersonic event. I guess you guys are going with that we shot in the back of the trunk or whatever was going on there. But
I don't know if it was from a drone or from the Lucy building or from another roof, but I do know, I do believe another shot was fired. I do believe a shot was fired from the roof.
To believe that.
But that's not what killed Charlie. What killed Charlie was the exploding receiver that was on his waist, on his belt, in line with his neck.
Now it's on his belt?
Absolutely.
So we're not going with the Rode microphone that's attached to his collar?
No, it's the receiver, which is on his belt, which is the same exact diameter. Yes, it was.
No. Do you understand
same
the Rode mic?
Yes, it was. I have pictures of it. I've shared pictures of it on my channel.
The Rode mic itself is actually the transmitter, is what it is. You guys are keep saying it's a receiver. So it's a transmitter. That is what's different than some of the Sennheiser models or whatever else. It is a self-contained wireless that clips on with the magnetic clip there. I have them. I have pictures of them. I've shown them on
the video. And it can also be worn on a belt, and Charlie wore his on this belt that day, and there's pictures of it. I've shown them. Yes, he did. I've shown the picture of it.
The black magnet is what is holding it to
and his collar. And that's where the bruise is. No. And that's where the bruise is underneath his shirt, exactly where that thing was clipped to his belt.
So again, what we have is something that explodes so violently that it busts the mic into 1,000 pieces. We have
it was a shape charge too, by the way. It was
no, just 7 pieces. That's what the court document says. Just 7 pieces, and they only sent over 4 to the ATF. So Let's cut the BS with the 1,000 pieces.
Sort of directed, and I had Matt Tardio, who's an actual explosives expert, to come on to talk about how ridiculous this idea of a shape chart is. But
that's why there's a bruise on his stomach. Absolutely.
So we have a bruise on the stomach, something that went off at 4,000 degrees centigrade, hotter than the surface of the sun, and it didn't melt his shirt.
He shouldn't have any burns, dummy.
You could have put a firecracker underneath Charlie's shirt, and you lit that off.
How do you enter the air puffing out of his shirt? You can see the air puffing out.
He shouldn't have any burns. It was a gunshot to the neck, remember? That doesn't create a burn on your hands and your stomach.
How do you explain that? I've explained that on multiple podcasts. We have the round that hit him in the neck, probably in the C3, C2, somewhere around there, which is directly in line with the back of his necklace. It has rapid acceleration of the back of the necklace, very short but very violent. That causes the pendant to go up. It causes all of the shirt movement. Like, the explanation is pretty easy. It's not that difficult. You guys are making it into some sci-fi nonsense that doesn't even make sense. All right, we're going to land you right there. I'm going to bring up
Z.
No,
let's get it.
You can recycle. I'm going to have everybody go. I want to get everybody through here. So
let's get it, Z.
Come back up.
Okay, thanks for having me. Blake, so I've got two quick questions for you. The first one is that, so, Turning Point USA, you guys have been spreading conspiracies for a long time. You guys spread misinformation about COVID and the vaccines. You work with Jack Posobiec, who's famous for the Pizzagate conspiracy that ruined a lot of people's lives, including the deep state. You guys also spread probably the most harmful one, which was that the 2020 election was rigged, which, by the way, resulted in you guys paying for buses that went to Washington, D.C., which left multiple cops.
How does this tie into the prompt?
Well, because
Gary, shut up, bro.
It's tied to the prompt. Let me lay my plane here. So hold on. Can I just finish what I'm going to say?
No, not just yet.
Well, no. Let me finish what I'm going to say. It also resulted in police officers that got brutalized. It also resulted in the doxing of election workers. Okay. And so. Hold on. I'm not.
Look, now they don't want Z to talk.
I've been respectful waiting. I just want to finish my question and get.
That's the question.
Okay. So, which again resulted in election workers being doxxed, which you were just complaining about yourself. So my question to you is, why should we care about Candace Owens spreading conspiracies about you when you and Turning Point USA have been spreading conspiracies and doxing average?
All right, let's stay on the prompt, folks. I don't know what else to say.
They kicked her off.
And sit here and argue with a liberal about what actually happened.
They kicked her off.
One of the things that I was going to ask her before I kicked her out was, is she indeed funded by Act Blue? Which she is. I already know the answer to that. Look, at the end of the day, Z is totally tied to the leftist.
They kicked her off.
Always been trying to destroy TPUSA. Like, stick to the prompt. It's really simple as that.
Y'all haven't talked about the prompt for 3 hours.
I mean, I didn't have too much to add. I was just exasperated because it's like, you're mad at me for stuff that happened in 2020. I literally, I don't work for Turning Point USA. I've only worked for the Charlie Kirk Show since 2022. So, I would just point out, whatever you're
bro,
I couldn't even answer it if I felt inclined to do so. And on top of that, I will be frank, I actually think, at least while I've worked for him, I think Charlie's rhetoric on the 2020 election was pretty responsible. I think he saw some things as shady, but he often said the worst stuff that was going on was stuff that was semi-legal. That was basically election rules that were changed going into the 2020 election that made it easier for shady behavior to happen. But we don't need to go down this route. Nothing in that vein is remotely comparable to the sustained, non-stop derangement that is emanating from Candace Owens over the past 10 months. Candace Owens is effectively, I won't say full-time job because I'm not sure she has her partner.
Again, I don't know if it's his connection or.
Oh, is my sound bad?
Stuff in my.
You sound good to me. Okay, all right. Nothing compares remotely to the fact that Candace Owens has spent a sustained 10 months making effectively every episode of her show finding some new way to target
I'm about to I gotta log off TikTok because I just got a warning for spreading misinformation. I don't know, but I've been banned. I was banned twice last week, so I can't really get another one today, or else my account is gone. So I'm on YouTube. We're still listening to this space for a little bit longer, I guess. But I gotta shut this down before they ban the TikTok live. Before they ban my account.
That was the stuff a few people ran with, and I just don't think it ever, like Alex Jones got sued for it. I don't think Alex Jones made that the only subject of the show for a 10-month period. And that's what's happened here. I just have never seen anything like it in my life.
Hey, real quick, I thought the prompt was self-explanatory. Let me narrow it down for everybody just so that we're clear. Look, what I want to hear is why Tyler Robinson, whatever evidence you have that Tyler Robinson is not guilty, and or if somebody other than him is guilty, I want to hear the evidence. And specifically, Erica Kirk, Keep USA, if you have evidence of that, please present it. If you have evidence that Tyler Robinson is not guilty, that was released during the preliminary hearing, I would love to hear that. I think Dr. Strange was up next, then Tyler, then Ashland, then Bronson. Dr. Strange, go ahead.
I can't hold you. That was it for me. I'm not. We just sat here for 2 hours, maybe a little bit under it because we had the technical difficulties for like 20, 25 minutes. We just sat for over an hour and 40 minutes waiting for some real questions. And then when finally real questions come up, they kick them off the space saying that they're not on the topic. And we sat here and listened to these people talk about Candace Owens for hours, right? An hour plus. How can I see how long this has been going? I can't. There's no way. There's no way I can sit through it anymore because I see where this is going now. Yeah, we still here. I mean, we've been waiting for somebody to come to the front of the panel or the speaker and ask real questions because for the last hour plus 2 hours, they have been talking about Candace Owens, just straight talking trash like they middle school girls. Let everybody that come up just talk bad about Candace Owens. That's all they've been doing. And then finally, when Project Constitution and Z from UNF America get up there, they kicked them off the panel, talking about they're not staying on topic. They kicked Z off. She didn't even get the question out. They kicked her off in 20 seconds because they said she wasn't on topic. And we've been sitting here for 2 hours talking about irrelevant things, just talking about how much they hate Candace Owens.
Speaking, when he said that, when I remember it happening, I've mentioned it many times that he said this, but it wasn't mentioned like, oh, I got a specific threat from like a tranny and that has filled me with fear.
Blake Bednarz is on Bays with Lala going through Tyler's escape route with 360 maps. Let me check it off. Let me check it out before we get off. Because that definitely just pissed me off. I've just been waiting this whole time and these folks just did that. That's crazy. I can't even listen to that no more.
Yeah, pop out at the street base.
Nothing happened on TikTok. I got warnings that I was about to get banned and suspended again for spreading misinformation. I didn't really say anything. And I can't get another ban because I got banned twice last week, so my account is in jeopardy. So that's why I ended it. But welcome to YouTube, where we get to say whatever we want over here.
Here we go. Yes. Okay, so back up. So you flew out to Orem for this?
No, I drove.
Okay.
How many energy drinks did you end up drinking for this?
That's classified.
Okay, that's classified.
My I didn't have a heart attack. I didn't have a heart attack, Baze. Drag it around so she can see.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that. Okay, yes. So this is the corner. The house is on the wait. Go the other way. Go to the right. To the right. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Behind Blake. The house directly behind him. Can we see it on this corner right here?
Look at that handsome fella.
I know.
The guy.
Oh,
So that
get a
is the
better
house
shot.
right there on the corner that yelled at us, and this house kind of wraps around on the other side. It's kitty corner to that outlet.
This is wild.
So I walk a good ways down this. Let's see if we see that street actually.
And
Baze,
this is
go
supposed
forward.
to be this is supposed to be the path that he takes.
It would have had to have been.
So he came out where that trail was, came out from that backyard, cut the left, and he's going all the way to, what is it, 88 West through by that field?
So look over to the left-hand side. This would be where he ducks off, right? I mean, keep hitting play, but hit play, but look over to the left. He would have ducked off down one of these.
Yes. So these are the houses that are on top
Yeah.
of that incline that where
Yes.
right behind the ROTC building in that empty field. Yeah. Which begs the question, Blake, how would Tyler Robinson know that that stairwell was there if he showed up at 8:10 in the morning? So I went to UVU. I lived in Orem for 10 years. A lot of my friends went to UVU. A lot of my family went to UVU. None of us knew that that stairwell was there. I have friends that work at UVU currently as professors.
Nah, yeah, this is crazy. I didn't know you can upload 360 videos. This is this is technology right here.
And they didn't know that stairwell was there. But Bagsley would have known that stairwell was there. Not implicating him in anything, but it is odd that he was standing in post on special assignment above the Hall of Flags, staring directly at the Losey Center 4th tier atrium for an hour. Because he got to work at 11. He was on special assignment and was probably got to his post maybe 20, 30 minutes after his shift. He was standing there staring at the atrium. Definitely when Charlie got shot.
Blake, why are you going backwards now?
Well, you got to turn the camera around, bro. But
you're going the wrong way.
No, I just stopped and turned around because I was like, this is just gonna kick out to. So I was gonna walk it back.
Why didn't David Hull bring this up in his testimony?
They stopped. So the story in the courtroom stops at the wooded area. They don't go farther than that. They go the wooded area and then it jumps to Washington County with.
Isn't that odd? Is that not odd to you? I mean,
it is odd. It is odd. It ends at the wooded area and then it jumps to Washington County with Agent Davis. It doesn't go through how he actually got away and where did he go after the wooded area. This is how he got to what? A getaway car?
Danny says, keep in mind they want us.
Yeah, he did. Blake Neff did say that. I know we moved on, but I think our clock. Yeah, Blake Neff did say that, but the other night he thinks with saying all of those things that he is still not a key witness because the cops didn't ask him any questions. They didn't interrogate him. They didn't, not maybe interrogate, but they didn't, demand some type of statement or a testimony or any of that stuff. So he has verbally said a couple of times what he saw and all that stuff, but he considers himself not a key witness just because the authorities are not interested in him, even though we all know that he is a witness. He sat there and watched it. He was 5 feet away, 10 feet away, probably less than that. You know what I mean? 5 to 7 feet away. But for some reason, he thinks that he's not a key witness just because the police aren't interested in him. And I'm like, that again, why are you just, the police isn't interested in me, so I guess whatever. That should make you concerned. But they're all essentially in on it. They know good and well the police not going into details, the police not doing all of that, is the police not doing their job. So you should be concerned. You should be like, whoa, 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 let me actually step up to the plate. Maybe I need to help you do your job, and go inside of the precinct and say, hey, are you going to get a statement from me? Are you going to get a testimony from me? Like, what you need? Why aren't you asking me anything? Blake ain't going to do that, though. He's just going to say, oh, police didn't ask me nothing, which makes him look even more weird.
To believe all this happened in 6 minutes.
6 minutes is a long time to be on a roof and wearing all black with a police officer staring directly at you. You know what I'm saying?
It just doesn't, it makes zero sense.
This is awesome. And Blake, great work with this.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
You
I
guys
mean,
So that is the building that you guys are saying. What is that building? That's the building. It has no name, and it kicks out on the other side. The back end's on the other side, right next to that stairwell outlet in the basketball driveway. And the DC building, he cut through the back of a house and ran down on the street as like an assailant wearing all
running. Yes.
But
headed towards this.
Yeah. Likewise.
It's the wooded area. Tyler Robinson.
As I was walking around there last week, run on the
neighborhood, because I guarantee. No, it's not actually. This is not the ROTC building. On the TMZ video.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm gonna definitely check it out some more. Since they wasted our time on this X space, so I can't sit here and watch this for a long time too. So I'll definitely check it out. It's gonna be very interesting. My apologies that tonight's episode was so chaotic and crazy, and we had to kind of improvise because we had 20 minutes of technical difficulties in the beginning, and ended up just scrapping the show because it was just way too late to start over. So I'll definitely check out the hidden stairwell. Okay. Will you please do a TikTok mapping out these TPUSA people with their faces? I wasn't ever a fan. I know the makes and I've seen faces, but they all just look the same. You talking about like all the TPUSA characters? But then joins lives as the resident insider. Are you associated or not? I know Blake's weird. What if he really was the bald guy driving the car? And what if Blake Neff was the guy that Tyler Robinson spoke to when he got on campus? Blake Neff's that he snitched on himself in the other X space. He said, I think I know. He said, I know who Tyler Robinson was talking to, and I'm not going to tell you because they didn't do anything wrong. Nobody ever assumed that they did anything wrong, bro. We just trying to figure out who they was, because that would add to your story of Tyler Robinson being an evil person because he talked to y'all and then immediately went up there and did what he did. So I think for him to say, I know who Tyler Robinson talked to, but I'm not going to tell you because they didn't do anything, I think that means it might have been you, bro, because only you would know that you didn't do anything. You don't know everybody else. I mean, like, I just thought that was weird to say. I know who it was and they didn't do anything. What? I wasn't asking you that. So I think Blake Neff is revealing himself, and I think it's a reason on why he is jumping in all of these spaces. I love it, so please don't stop. But I think he's jumping on all these spaces for a reason. They're backpedaling. So we're going to see. But I appreciate y'all for listening in to this crazy improvised episode where we had to scrap everything and listen to this X space for the last 2 hours. I might keep this up for a replay for the replay crew in the morning. I don't know. Sometimes YouTube kind of, when things are off from usual, like YouTube is a heavy niche platform, and when something is off, then they kind of just throw off the whole vibe. So I don't know. I might keep it up for the replay crew. I might not. We'll see, because we really just listen to the X space, which we can all go back on X and replay that. But I do appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys hit the like button before you get out of here. Make sure you guys hit the sub button if you are new to the channel. I hope everybody has a great Tuesday, and I will see y'all on the next one.